I'd like to acknowledge the Bunurong Boonwurrung people as the traditional owners of the land where this recording was made. Over the past few months, I've been walking through reserves around Melbourne, Naarm, and recording conversations along the way. I've met with traditional owners and First Nations peoples, conservationists, ecologists, and others who've chosen a place that matters to them. We walk and talk about nature, what lives there, what's changed, and what needs protecting. You'll hear our footsteps, the wind in the trees, the birds overhead, and the city not too far away. This is Finding Melbourne's Nature. Welcome. Today we're at Braeside Park in the southeast of Melbourne, and we're lucky to be joined by the president of the Friends group here, Judith Sise. She's an amazing woman and she's got a great story of how she got into conservation. She's also going to tell us all about the conservation values of the reserve, a bit about its history, and the amazing things that occur here to this day. There's heathy woodlands, there's grassy woodlands, and there's wetlands. It's a great spot for birding too if you're interested. So I encourage you, get down to Braeside Park and have a walk around for yourself. It's a beautiful place.
The park is actually only started in the park in the 1990s. It was a sewage farm up until 1975, 79, and then it was given, the Board of Works eventually gave it over to Parks Victoria. And so this was all open land. It was a sewage farm, and there was, before that it was a racing horse training track, and before that it was grazing, and then it was vegetables, and before that it was a Carrum Carrum Swamp. So it's had a changed history. If you look here, there, you can see that that's actually a scar tree.
That is a scar tree right there.
Yeah, there's a few others.
Yeah.
But that one is the most obvious one to me. And most people never see it.
Yeah.
But it's there.
Amazing.
So this is a lovely photographed tree. It's quite an old tree. So sometimes not all the trees were chopped down.
Beautiful river red gum.
It's a really old one. It's not the biggest in the park.
Yep.
The biggest in the park is called Big Ben, I think.
Yep.
And I'm not sure how old we reckon it's probably between 500 and 800 years old. This one probably isn't. It's probably 300 to 400 years, we reckon. But it's quite photographic.
It is, isn't it? It's well.
You look at, I look at the size of those branches, but when you look at the other one, which is down in the heathland, they're massive.
Yeah.
And so a few trees managed to avoid the sewage farm.
Yes.
Not many. The biggest problem we have in this park is actually rabbits. I think we have, according to one ranger, the biggest rabbit population in a regional park. Because we lost our big trees, these are our nesting sites. So the sulphur-crested cockatoo is our crest, and here's the most popular bird you'll see here. And they're all nesting at the moment and fighting over sites. So you see them all out here. But we planted all in there. So that's quite a recent planting, probably only in the 15 years old. But you can see, and the wood ducks are out there trying to contest for holes as well.
It's great that you've got hollows though in this sort of a landscape. It's amazing to see.
This is where the ranger and I would like to see a big rewilding fence all around this little section here, and wallabies reintroduced, swamp wallabies and echidnas, and we have got echidnas, and bandicoots. We'd like this rewilded. So imagine if you were running along here and a little head popped up. Wouldn't it be wonderful?
It would be magic.
It's just, that's his dream and that's my dream.
I can understand why, and like from memory, there used to be bandicoots here till not distant future, wasn't it?
It was, I think about...
Not distant past, sorry.
2000, we lost them. We also, the Field Naturals came in and did lots of surveys for snakes, lizards and antechinus at night. We don't have them anymore. But we did have, I would say, up to 2000.
Southern brown bandicoots, yeah. It's amazing, isn't it?
And this close to the city. We had koalas, by the way.
Oh, as well?
We had koalas. And because one of my members did her environment study here, and she said, I remember the koalas. I thought, oh my God, I never saw them, but they were here. So in here is, see how you can look through there?
Yes.
And there's a hole.
Right through a tree stump?
Yeah, right through a tree stump. It's just one I really like. It's an old tree, but I don't know why it's like that. Got some good few toadstools here. So this area here I like because right through there is the Dingley drain comes in and goes through a series of ponds, which I'll show you, and eventually come here. And when we get a little bit of rain, which we should have had this winter, this actually goes under flood.
Right.
You can hear the frogs.
Yes.
And this is a little bit of a wetlands in here. And we're actually planting carracks. Beyond this, you go right back to our creek called Bent Creek, and we're carraxing the roots up there. But we've always got something in there and water.
It's beautiful. So we're looking out over about 6 ducks on the pond there.
Yeah, you've got black ducks and we've got the, teal?
Chestnut teal.
Chestnut teal.
Yeah. And they're frolicking, I might say. Is that an overstatement? They seem to be enjoying themselves.
They do like this pond, and this pond winds all the way back. I've actually walked through there, but it gets quite difficult to walk through there.
Yes.
But it gets to the creek where we're putting in carracks, which is the only grass that the rabbits don't eat, which is nice. Look, there they are, heads up, tails down, dabbling free.
Dabbling free. What's
like
that from? Wind in the Willows or something?
Yes.
I remember that one. That was a good one.
I love them.
Mm.
So this pond goes over here.
Oh, right.
And it continues up and crosses another park. So it just keeps continuing. So this is where I've actually seen an eel crossing on its way to the sea.
Overland crossing, yeah.
So this, at the moment, this is dry because we've had a really dry winter.
Yes.
But normally this is up high and it will flow all over this area.
And there's some great aquatics I'm seeing in the water here, like
there is some, yeah.
Triglochlan and Persicaria and things like that.
We've also got a few weeds in there.
I'm trying not to look at those.
Yes. Because our frog person doesn't like thistles near the water because he said the frogs can get caught on that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
I feel quite sad.
Yeah.
So if you go through there's the trail that goes beyond it comes out through here, and in there is another part I like because this winds through there. But all the water comes from the Dingley drain for that area.
From the Dingley drain. Are we seeing a postcard of the Carrum Swamp sort of thing in a way? The old one?
You'd like to think so, but I don't know. Yeah. This is a favourite area for roosting.
Yes.
Because all these old trees are being contested at the moment.
Yep.
So up there we've got our ibis sitting up there, and wood ducks, no doubt. And we've got our rosellas, and there's usually parrots all fighting because this is a great tree for nesting. If you come here in the early morning or late afternoon, there's always something having a bit of a go at the moment because they're nesting. Along that line of trees there, we had a salinity problem.
Yep.
So when they first started here, one of the major things for the group was to actually plant, and we tested for salinity. We haven't tested for salinity for about 15 years.
Yep.
Probably think we should, but we've actually made a huge difference because all the trees are growing there. So that probably saved it. This is an actual project we're in at the moment, and this is actually rabbit-proofed, and it will come out.
Rabbit-proof fence, yep.
Yeah, rabbit-resistant rather than proof because you can't keep bloody rabbits out. In there are some of the wildflowers and orchids that we'd want to keep.
Yes.
If we have them out here where the rabbits are, we haven't got a hope. So it's about 2 hectares, and where the rangers and my group are applying for grants, and we weed it, but it's got to a critical stage where it's probably hard to maintain them because we just don't have enough genetic input from the few that are left. So I don't know how we're going to address that. I'm going on an orchid thing to Cranbourne Botanical Gardens and trying to talk to all the orchid specialists. What can you do? What do we do? How do we save our orchids? It's quite a difficult problem.
Do you think you could be a future translocation site as well?
Probably, yeah.
That'd be nice.
Probably would have to be. Problem we have is echidnas.
They can get through this rabbit-proof fence.
They come through any hole and the rabbit follows them. It's just amazing, the problems we have to contend with. But you can see we've actually expanded that.
Yes.
I've seen a fox jump through that, no problems.
Yeah,
They
right.
go in. If they eat the rabbit, I don't care. But we check this usually once a week. I do, the ranger does, and fill in holes, just to make sure nothing is in there. But all this, some of these are rabbits,
Yes.
but some are echidnas, because we have a very healthy echidna population.
Lots of diggings along the track,
Yeah, they come along. They're mainly in the heathland, but they do come out along the tracks occasionally. So this is the Far Lap track. And then we come into the River Red Gum, which
Yeah.
goes down the other end.
And we're starting to see some vegetation changes.
You do.
Yeah, she oaks and things come through.
You do, because I think the ranger said to me, the original, not the ranger this one, but the ranger before, is the Carrum Carrum Swamp, there is a different change, especially on the Far Lap track, where you go from where the Carrum Carrum Swamp is, and then you go into River Red Gum country, which is open, what do they call it? River Red Gum, grassy woodlands.
Yeah.
Grassy woodlands. So we are changing into it.
And
And
this
you
is
could-
such a habitat that's been lost so much around Melbourne, isn't it? To see it on the south side down here, it's pretty special because so much of this...
Then we have the heathlands,
Yes.
which is nominally protected.
Yep.
People are not supposed to go in there. This weekend I do a spring walk and we take people up there. Flowers are spiteful, I've decided. They either come out before or after. They never seem to come out when we've changed from October to September to November, and we just can't get it right.
Yep.
The wedding bush is the main big display up there, but also we have lots of green hoods which were out a month ago. And then there's different orchids up there, the donkey orchids and the hyacinth.
Are you a birder yourself?
Sort of. My husband's more the birding person,
Yes.
but I go on trips with him, and I know that birding here is, a lot of people tell me, is almost as good as going to the Western Treatment Plant.
Wow, that's
When
a
it-
huge, big claim. That's
When
great.
it is, you can see all the ducks down here
Yeah.
in one day. Not at the moment because we don't have enough water,
Yes.
but we do see bitters and rails, and all those will be down here. So in here you can see a lot of trees have fallen down.
Yes.
In here we've had a lot of loss of trees because we've had successive drought conditions. And I often think the golf course has a lot of ponds along there, and once upon a time I imagined that when the golf course wasn't there, water used to flow through here. But it doesn't anymore because they use it. And so I think over the years it's changed a lot. But I guess that's life, isn't it? But you can see I always like some of these big old trees, but they are dying slowly but surely because of lack of water in the deep down. They survive quite well, but every now and again I think what they need is a big soaking, and they don't get it anymore.
You think the natural floodplain of the sort of Carrum Swamp would have...
Would have been through here,
Yeah.
but it's not there now. So what we're seeing is the end of it.
How
this-
big is the park?
295 hectares, just under 300 hectares.
Wow, that's huge. For
It's
this.
quite a big park,
Yeah, that's great.
which is why when you successively cut your budget, how hard it is to maintain.
And you're the leader of the Friends group?
I'm the president of
The
Friends
president
group.
of the Friends group?
We've got about registered, paid up members about 40 plus, just over 40. But we have a lot of people who aren't members but who come to planting and, who tell us, I planted here as a kid and I'm bringing my kid back to plant. So you can see that happening. So that's quite good. When I talk about the centenary drought, which you might remember, which was
88? Is it that one?
No.
That's bicentennial.
After that one. Not that one. It would have been the next one, 2002 or something.
Yep.
There was we had sort of, must have been, I was here because I didn't come to Melbourne come down here until 1995.
Okay.
And it was after that, so it would have been about 2000, we had huge flood through here, and it was all the rain, and it just flowed all the way through here. Long Swamp, which is up here, was full. I've never seen it full again. So, and that would have all soaked in.
Wow. When did you join the Friends group?
I joined the Friends group about 2000.
Wow.
But I was here working in the nursery before that, probably in 98, 99. And I really joined because I was a member of I still am, Greater Dandenong group, and we ran a nursery.
Yes.
Our nursery closed because we didn't have enough, well, they shifted us. We had a smaller space and all sorts of complications. But so I thought, oh, well, I'll join this group and become part of it. And then I've been president for, I think, 15 years.
Wonderful.
Because, well, we lost, our original members are all in their 80s and 90s and past. And our president at that stage was 92.
Oh, wow.
Elsie. And Elsie died. She showed me how to make this slice, and I make it for every meeting because it's Elsie's slice. Everyone says, Judith's slice. I said, no, it is Elsie's apple slice, which everyone loves.
That's lovely. And was Elsie, I presume, a huge influence on the place as well?
She was the secretary, and she was one of the original members.
Yes.
The original members, I don't think we've got any
Yep.
of the original members left now. They've, as I said, they were in their 90s, 80s. They all joined probably when the park started in about the group started in 1989, I think it is. It started. And they probably were all in their 40s and 50s at that stage, retired and moving in here. So they did a lot of work. They planted, they had a lot of fun. They had about 12 to 14 ranges to work with.
Wow.
Now we have two permanent full-time and 2 part-time.
That come through.
So
Yeah.
that's it. 4.
And you had an interest in environmental things before you started this Friends group? You've been involved in other?
Yeah, I was.
Yeah.
I was a member of the Greater Dandenong one. I grew up in central Queensland,
Lovely.
and I can always remember always riding, in those days, your mother let you go right off on your bike into the bush.
Yeah.
So I just ride off in the bush. And I said my earliest memory is always in the central Queensland in a bush, not far from my home, I don't think, just standing there and listening to seeds like wattle seeds and acacia seeds. You know how they twist and then go, psst,
Yeah.
and you could actually hear them doing it. I can always remember a hot day just listening to that. So that started me, and I was lucky. I did science all through secondary school. I actually had a girls' school with women science teachers, which was, I think, influential.
Fantastic.
And I also got a zoology teacher. We didn't had, usually did physics, chemistry and 2 maths. But we got a zoology teacher. And I think she was the catalyst because she was pregnant. I remember her being pregnant, cutting up dogfish on the oval, going to Keppel Island, chasing mud skippers, just doing. Where physics was all, let's do some more maths.
Yeah.
Let's do some more maths. And I'm thinking, if I do any more maths, I'm going to scream. But she just made science so wonderful. It was, I can always remember that. And I think that was a turning point for me because my mum said, you used to be the person who used to grow wheat and try and be the little red hen and grind up wheat and try and make bread. She said, you were always digging or doing something stupid in the garden. No one else did it. And my dad also used to travel for the Commonwealth, and he used to check the kangaroos that got hit to see if they had any joeys.
Oh, that's nice.
And he brought one home for me once, and I had this little red kangaroo who I was going to breed. My mum said, you can't have a red kangaroo, they're big animals. But my dog had adopted him, so you'd see him lying on the ground, and the kangaroo would be, the little joey would be curled up. So, I think all those things influence you as a child, but I think kids now don't get those opportunities.
It sounds magic. It sounds idealistic.
Those are the sort of things I think that get you in. And then I also married a geologist, so I did roam the bush with him a lot.
And when did you start getting involved in the environment groups around Melbourne?
Well, I went back to teaching.
Yep.
That's a nice look through there. I like it when you can see old trees and new trees.
Yeah, it's nice, isn't it?
It is
side by
nice.
side.
And you can hear birds. And even though this is a fairly popular park, once you get away from the main centre, you hardly see anyone. So you can see we've planted here.
She oaks, yeah.
Yeah, we've planted a bit of those.
And some lovely blackwoods that are putting on a bit of a flower for us.
They are. They do quite well, actually.
And there's some of your cracking seeds from your
know.
childhood.
I know, they are.
So you started to join some of the environmental groups?
Yes, I went to plantings in Dandenong, and then I joined the Dandenong Environment Group, and then I actually joined this group because I was across the road from it. And from this group I thought, well, I need to know more, so I joined the Field Naturalists. And then from the Field Naturalists I said, well, I really need to see the big picture. And so I joined Living Link Collaboration, which is a Melbourne Water sponsored group which looks at the Dandenong Creek catchment. So I'm probably their only volunteer group there. And they have all the councils that go right along the Dandenong Creek catchment. And then I joined, I'm a field naturalist rep for them because they didn't want a friends group, they wanted someone who had a bigger picture.
Yes.
So I said, well, I'm a field naturalist. Oh yeah, you're good. So then I joined the Gardner Creek Regional Collaboration, which is Gardner Creek that feeds into the Yarra.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm in that one. And with the field naturalists, I'm on the committee for Mallee Dunes, which is a property we bought up in the Mallee. So quite a few little
You
bits.
keep yourself busy.
And this is our wetlands area. It's deteriorated a lot from lack of water. It really has. But it is very popular with the birdos, and painters, artists come down here, which I think's... I had a lovely incident. I was collecting water to take to an event with macroinvertebrates.
Yes.
And there were these 5 ladies all sitting there with their little easels painting.
Oh.
And I said, I won't disturb you. I'm just going to collect water. So I waded out in my boots. I had my net. And I got my boots stuck. And I couldn't pull it out. And I slowly just went... And you know, they did not laugh.
They did not laugh?
They did not laugh. I picked myself up as if, oh, this is perfectly normal to fall in the mud, crawled out and went off. And you know, they'd not once. I said to someone, it must have been the strangest thing. This woman comes in, falls in the mud, crawls out, gets some more water and drives off. And I was thinking that is the stupidest thing I'd ever done. Someone said, you weren't supposed to be there on your own. I said, I wasn't. I had 5 observers watching me. I said, I wonder if any of their paintings had me lying in the mud.
Oh, isn't it great to see the she oak in flower?
I love the she oak.
It just isn't this what life's about? When you see that beautiful red.
And do you know people don't stop and look at that?
Yeah.
And it's such a weird, because you know, you say to kids, that's a leaf.
Yes.
And that's not what you think of a leaf.
No.
And I said, there's a male and there's a female. And they have to have both. Eucalyptus don't, but she oaks do. And I said, if you lie, at the school I taught, we had a lovely she oak. And I used to get all the kids to lie under there and listen to the wind blowing through the she oaks.
It's a magic sound, isn't it? It just...
It's a sea. It's like shh, shh.
I like that description a lot. It is the sea, isn't it?
So I used to say, just close your eyes and where are you? Eventually some kid would say, it sounds like the beach. I said, exactly, it sounds like the beach. But I said, even this.
Yeah, the
Isn't
bark.
It's such an interesting bark. You just got to stop people. And then they have these tiny little seed balls, which are interesting.
They're a tactile plant, aren't they?
They are very tactile. But people just walk them by. And they don't even look at them. Because look,
Yes.
this is our little... Now that's the female, isn't it? The male is the other one, I think.
That's right, yes. We've got growing side by side.
So they should be producing good seed.
They're in a relationship, perhaps.
Husband and wife, I
Yeah.
remember that one. This is the old wife and that's the young male. Here's a good one. This is the tree that we're trying most to propagate at the moment is the Banksias.
Yes.
And they're very hard at the moment to grow. I don't know why. They're not producing seed, they're not growing so well from cuttings. And this is an area where we've got the coastal and we've got the marginata. And we shouldn't have the coastal technically we should be the interfoliar one it is.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not growing well, and so I'm trying to grow both if I can get any seedlings at all. We do have ringtails and brushtails, and we do have the small, what are they? Not small possum that, like a glider.
Feathertail?
Yeah.
Or sugar gliders?
We had gliders.
Yeah, right.
And I used to, in the early mornings when I used to walk up from across the road, I actually used to see them flying from tree to tree, but they've moved. Whether they're still alive, I don't know.
How long ago since you've seen a glider?
A glider, probably about 15 years.
15
But
years.
there could be other places in the park where they've gone. This is our official old bird hide, and it's actually not bad. It's not bad. People come in here, and my husband said, you do still see the odd good bird in here.
White-faced heron is just gracing us with its presence.
It's not doing its usual, horrible croaky voice it has. Such a
wonderful
fairy tale, the little superb fairy wrens.
And I should mention for people who are listening audibly, on the audio, there is a lot of planes flying over, and that's because...
We have the Moorabbin Airport across the road.
Yes.
This is us here.
Friends of Braeside Park.
Friends of Braeside Park. That's us.
And I'm lucky to be here with the president.
Yeah.
Oh, you've got a website and everything too.
We have. It's not up to date.
BraiesideParkFriends.org.au. Are you looking for more members?
Oh, always.
Really?
Always.
Yeah, great.
Always.
And they can come along and do
always.
Some planting, weeding. What are the main activities?
The main activities we run a propagation.
Mm-hmm.
So I head up that one.
So a nursery propagation?
Yeah.
Great.
I'll take you by it. We go through the propagation.
Mm-hmm.
We do a whole series of walks which were once done by rangers. So we've just finished doing 6 night walks. In daylight saving we don't, but when it's not daylight saving we do 6 night walks on the first Friday of every month, and we do extra walks for different groups. We do the planting with the rangers. We also do our own planting that they allow us to do. We do water watch, but that's sort of restrictive because we have to be trained by Melbourne Water. And also, if you have 10 people doing water watch, a whole lot of people don't get to do anything. Yeah, so we have about 5 of us, which is good because it means that someone can be away, like I can be away and say to the 3 others, can you do it? Yep, good. So we do that every month. We do the propagation 2 times a month. We do the night walks, we're just finished. We do a spring walk this Sunday. We do breakfast with the birds. We do autumn walks. We used to have photography. We invite people in to do talks. We apply for grants and we advocate. And that seems to fill us all up. It is hard work, actually. But if people come in with a special thing that they want to follow, then we're more than happy to say, okay, let's go for that. So one member came in and he's a frog man, and runs a frog night, and he's always growing his moment water plants to get more water plants in for the frogs. So people come in with different ideas, we follow them, I think. Now, if you go along there, you go past our nursery, which is up there. That's the depot. But I quite like this bridge. This is one of my water watch areas.
Yes.
But I like this bridge because it comes from a little wetlands, and it's this little turnaround area. And it was flowing 3 weeks ago. Not flowing anymore. Stopped. We had a bit of rain. We had 2 bridges. And I liked it because it's man-made. We've still got a bit of water. It's seeping through. But I liked it because it ran through these rocks and in through there. And somebody did a night heron and a dragonfly.
In mosaic on the rocks?
Yeah, on the rocks, which I thought was one of the early ones. There's a bit of weeding that should be done there. They probably tell us it's too dangerous to do. But in the early morning, you used to walk through here and there'd be swirling mists. And it's really pretty.
And am I right in thinking that I recently read you've got an OAM?
Yes.
Congratulations.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
Really?
Tomorrow. Yes. On Monday I went, oh my God, it's Wednesday. What am I going to wear? I've thrown out all my work clothes. So I went to Southwood, which is about as far as I can stand in shopping centres, and said, I need something. Because I thought, what am I going to wear? Yeah.
It's so special. Congratulations.
Oh.
And when you've listed all the things that you've done, and I'm sure you're just giving me a tiny part of it, but you must be so busy. Like, this is such a huge effort.
It is a bit, but I don't, like, it's something you love. You do it, don't you?
Mm.
But yeah, that was a bit of a surprise, that one.
Oh, I think it's well and truly deserved.
I look at those, my feel naturalists, and think every one of them is better, does more than me. I think the only thing I can say is I'm across many groups, and that interconnectedness, that's what I think. Everything is interconnected. People, environments are interconnected, and we've got to keep making those interconnections for things to survive. I keep thinking that it's only when you get someone on their hands and knees planting, and then they sit down and talk to other people who've shared it with them, and then they go away, and then they come back, and that plant is still there, you know, and they bring it back and say to their kids, I did this when I was your age. That is what makes it powerful. So I've planted with kids where I worked as a teacher on the Dandenong Creek, and the sign is still there, and their kids' trees now are a couple of metres high. You know, they planted them when we did this big centenary, but they grew them at the school, and then they went out with the Rotary, and the Rotary from Japan, and they planted. You know, and I thought, that's so powerful, because they've now got little kids at prep, and they still can say, well, I planted that area. I don't know. I think the doing is really important, and getting people to meet with others who share that same enthusiasm. See, here comes our little bush kinders.
And isn't that apt for what you're talking about? Because these kids are experiencing this place of nature and...
Yes. And it's so good. And this is where we have our echidnas like to dig and delve. There are 5 eucalypts in this tree, in this one. We've got the peppermint, the manna, the river red gum, the snow gum, and there's one more. And that's we only have 5 in the park. Is that because we eliminated the others and only planted those? I don't know. That question I don't know. So this is locked. Supposedly we never go in here. But if you've got a key, you get in here. If we go down here, this is where I go for heathland. And when I come in here, I just say to people, now think what we've just walked through and look here. This is what it should be out there.
It's different geology and everything, isn't it? Seems.
This is our heathland, and this is where the sandy bits are. And see, I like the grasses there. It's not a place we can bring people in at night because it's bumpy, but we're going to go down here and see if we can find a big tree. If you go down there, there's lots of birds in here. Lots of little birds.
So this is a restricted area?
This is a restricted area, and what's digging here will be our echidnas, who are having a lovely time.
Hopefully promoting some orchid growth and things like that through
would be nice, wouldn't it? Would be nice, but it's not the one we want. The one we're trying to save is the Diurus punctata.
You have that here, do you? Yeah.
Purple, spotted purple one. Yes, but we don't have many left. We got to 100 once when I was here, and now we're down.
Really?
And this is the one we're trying to save.
Isn't this wonderful?
This is the nice part.
I did not know this.
You have to watch your feet.
Yes.
Because there's the drain beside us, by the way.
Oh, right.
This is now, we're starting to get to our big trees. This is not the big tree.
That's not the big tree?
No, that's not the big tree.
That's a beautiful tree.
The big tree's further on, but that's quite a big tree, isn't it? But it's not that big tree. The big tree's further on.
I mean...
And I haven't been in here this year. So sometimes I bring people in here, but I have to look at how able-bodied are they?
Yes.
Because this is not easy to walk through. Yes, I can hear you. And one of our trees has got mistletoe on it. There it is. And we don't have mistletoe in our park.
Really?
We don't bring many people in here
I feel privileged.
to come in here. I'm trying to find my big tree. It's got to be up this one up here that you can sort of see. This is our big tree.
Wow.
Now that is a big tree, isn't it?
That
Look at the branches drop.
undeniably a big tree.
That's Big Ben. One of our guys said when he dies, he wants his ashes at the bottom of the tree.
That is magic.
It's a big tree, and it's such a lovely tree. Sometimes I bring people in here.
Oh my God.
You look at it though, how old do you think it is? Look at the size of that. God.
What's your guess for age?
Well, there's the ranger. See, now there's the mistletoe
Yeah.
that we don't have anywhere else, but it's here. He reckons it's about 800 years old.
Really?
Yeah, but I don't know. Should that be one of our projects? I don't even know how you go about getting it aged. But if you think about it, that should have been the trees all through here, shouldn't it?
It should, and this, yeah, we would have been in a land of giants where this might not have been the big tree, but the average. But today in 2025,
That is our biggest tree.
and it's huge. It is huge. I did not know.
So there's
Something
two
like-
big trees. That other one we reckon is probably maybe half its age.
Yep.
300 or 400. See, now this is all wet. Should be have some wetlands through here too. And we've tried planting them here with the other ranger, because that's lower down in on the road out there. But this area, I just love this tree. It's so big.
Absolutely. It's beautiful. It is stunning, and the habitat on it, everything, these perfect stems with.
It's a
Future
climbing
holidays.
tree too, isn't it?
Yeah,
You
it-
could climb that tree and
Oh.
lie in it.
I'm glad you got the same feeling, because I was just feeling that myself. Oh, this
Isn't that
is
beautiful?
magic, and I can only wonder what this tree's witnessed. You know, like would it have had a tree go in a climate at a different stage of its life? Would it have?
Absolutely.
Would bandicoots have congregated under it?
Bats,
Bats? Oh,
antechinus, you name it.
antechinus, all the
Koalas.
things.
It's not a koala tree, I don't
It
think.
probably saw quolls. It probably saw
It probably did. It probably did.
things that are just lost,
Completely now.
and it's still the witness standing here.
That's what I used to do with kids at school. We used to have to follow a tree for a year, so we used to have to draw the tree every month. I used to go out and all the kids used to just lie down and draw their tree. The first tree drawing they did was bloody awful. But slowly they got better and they started to say, I said, so what's on the tree? Ants, what else? And they'd slowly build up this relationship with the tree. You know, and at the end I used to keep all their pictures and their thoughts, and then I'd give them the diary of a tree. And you know, it made a big impression on them, because they suddenly saw that the tree was a living place. But yeah, they're things you try and do. Look at these.
I didn't know there was icing to put on this cake, but this is stunning. It is absolutely stunning.
I think it's called Big Ben.
Yep,
There you are, Big Ben.
there you go. I can try and tell people it was named after me, but I don't
I
think
don't think it'll probably go down a tree. It's like the big volcano down the bottom, Big Ben too. Anyway, I have said enough.
Yes,
You've got more than enough.
I've got great stuff. Thank you so much for your time today.
That was Judith Sise at Braeside Park. And if you're interested in joining the Friends of Braeside Park, check out braysideparkfriends.org.au. And while you're online, why don't you have a look at findingmelbournesnature.com, and you can read more about this series. And please check out other eps on your favourite platform for streaming.